Well, that's what happened in the House, and state rep, several state reps came out who sponsored early on and said they gutted the bill, and that it wasn't a Fourth Amendment situation anymore, probable cause. They were saying reasonable suspicion now. Well, all these grandmothers and young children going through there and saying it's reasonable suspicion we're all guilty until proven innocent. And that's the opposite of what our country was set up to be. We're innocent until proven guilty. And now the TSA is unfolding at bus terminals, train stations. Federal judges are ruling they want them in school proms, public schools. And so it really is the end of our open free society in the name of security, and it's not giving us any security. And so we're here to let the House and the Senate know that we want another special session extended. We don't want this watered-down bill passed that basically says it's a federal matter. Why do we even have states then if the states can't control what happens in their own borders? But an FBI agent can't come and stick their hands down your pants without a warrant or grab your genitals on the outside of your pants. So how suddenly can a TSA person do that? This is just an out-of-control federal power grab. But here's another example. Doctors can go to jail if they don't change their gloves every time. There's laws. There's also, they can be lose a medical license. How does TSA not change their gloves in hundreds of inspections? How does TSA make you take your shoes off and walk through unsanitary areas? How does TSA have these radiation scanners when Congress asked for the radiation meter information? They wouldn't release it for a year. When they did it was cooked numbers. And now it's come out that it's many times higher than they said. Government medical facilities, military medical facilities, private medical facilities, every month have a radiation officer who has to go through and check and has to wear a badge and check it. They're not even doing that with the equipment they have. They're just wide open ignoring their own federal laws. And so the states are there as a check and balance against the federal government. This is the federal government's a check and balance against the state governments. But now the federal government is just completely out of control. So we're here saying no to this 10th Amendment destroying TSA power grab and no to the groping and the Fourth Amendment. What can't they understand in the Fourth Amendment about you have to have a warrant and a absolute specifics before you do something, and that we are secure in our persons, papers, effects, and our homes? I mean, that's our persons. I mean, we've all experienced it when we're dating a new girlfriend, and the first time you get intimate, it's a little electrifying when people somebody is touching you for the first time. That's why grown men who are airline pilots have not been able to fly and go home and vomit. I mean, sometimes they go in your pants. And it's the disempoweringness of having somebody rubbing all over your body, and in some cases going in your pants. I mean, it really is traumatizing people. It's sexual assault, and it's teaching children. I haven't flown since all this began with my children. My children hear the radio and see TV, and they say, well, Daddy, you said nobody's supposed to touch me, who I don't know. Much less even people that I know I'm supposed to tell you. And I have to explain, well, the government's become corrupt now, and they're doing this, and yes, that's why we don't fly, is because they would touch you like that.
Final question, sir, and I'm going to go. The feds have said there will be a no-fly zone if our Texas state legislature passes this. What do you think about that?
That's right. The feds have said there'd be a no-fly zone, which is an act of war, a blockade under international law is an act of war. This shows their insane hubris and arrogance that they would block all air travel in Texas if Texas simply said we're going to enforce the law that police officers are under. And so this just shows you the federal government's out of control. Look, the executive is now launching wars without congressional approval. I mean, they've even had Democrats like Nadler come out and say the president's not a dictator. And it's not even about Obama. It just is this continual growth of power in the federal government to the point of, why do we even have states? Why do we even have a Fourth Amendment? Why do we even have a 10th Amendment? If they're saying, if you try to enforce a law that police officers are under, they can't stick their hands down your pants or grope small children, if you try to enforce that, we'll block all flights in and out of your states as an act of siege. Under law, national and international, that's an act of war. The federal government is out of control, and we've seen the House water the bill down along with the Senate, and it's absolutely shameful. And Rick Perry from the beginning said he supported this. That's why he's a slick politician, but had Dewhurst kill it, according to Dan Patrick, Senator Patrick. Then they were instrumental in having the bill watered down. And every time Representative David Simpson came in and brought new legislation that was watered down, it was always more, to the point of the bill actually abridges, and Texas gives authorization to the feds to do searches in violation of the Fourth Amendment. So this is the opposite of what we asked for. And then they tell all these politicians, most of them, they don't know they're having a hole in the ground, that, oh, this is a victory. No, this is like the state of Texas, going backwards and saying you don't have any human rights.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for talking to me. Appreciate it.